Kimberly Ann Gogan doubter leaves an excellent post on my video. My response. So before I get into the topic of this video, I just wanted to say that if you guys look at my thumbnail, I found this by accident, and this is actually the title of my original video that I made on my old channel when I first started talking about Kim, and it was called "Who is Kimberly Ann Gogan? Kim Possible, the most powerful woman you've never heard of." And I found it by accident because I was looking for thumbnails for Kim, and I ended up finding an article where somebody wrote an article on my video and they used this exact picture. And it's funny because I never knew that somebody did that, but it's funny. But whatever the case is, I just wanted to share that with you guys. But anyways, I'm going to get into this topic because somebody left a long comment on one of my posts or videos on BitChute, and I wanted to elaborate on it. I don't know how long this video is going to be. I try not to go over 10 minutes. I might have to go over 10 minutes, or I might make it 2 parts. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But I want to respond thoroughly to this person, and not just him, but other people who have been commenting about Kim. And I want to get some things straight, all right? I want people to understand where I'm coming from and what I think about what they're saying, okay? So without further ado, what I'm going to do is, if you look on your screen, you'll see the comment right there. And I'm going to read it. And as I already responded to this down here, but I'm going to respond in real time. And I may go back and forth, right? And look at this and then go back up and just go back and forth and make sure I get everything right. So, and Cecil, if you're watching, this is for you, okay? Directly responding to you. I said I was going to make the video, and that's what I'm doing. So here we go. So Cecil says, and just so you guys know, this is on BitChute, and it's on this video. Kimberly Ann Gogan, Kim Possible. It's on another level of knowledge and truth. So what he says is, I'm not really sure about Kim Gogan, but if she was a charlatan, she is the best of them all. And that's something that I've tried to tell, because I've had other people say to me, do you think she's lying? Do you think she's making anything up? And what I said to that person or those people is, if she's lying and if she's being controlled or whatever, then who isn't, right? And that's why I tell people, in this world that we live in, you have to believe who you want to believe. There is no objective truth, okay? I don't care what anybody tells you. There is none. I know people are like, oh, well, this can be true. The truth is what you experience and what you want to believe, period. That's what the truth is. Everyone has their own truth. That's just the bottom line. I used to believe that there are things that are beyond a shadow of a doubt that can be proven, that are true, and nobody can dispute. But as I mentioned in one of my other videos, I had a conversation with somebody who was religious, and they felt that their religion and what they were telling me was objective truth. And I didn't agree. So by the very nature of just me and that person disagreeing just on that, there is no objective truth, because we don't agree on what the truth is. And if two people don't agree, then think about all the other opinions and religions and philosophies and ideals that people have throughout the world and what people believe and don't believe. It's infinite, right? So how can you say there's an objective truth if so many people have their own belief of what the truth is, right? There really isn't. But anyways, Kim is very good at making sure that when she speaks, there are no holes in what she says. I try to find holes in everything she says all the time. The things that I'm not sure of, I can't prove or disprove. So she's very good at talking. And whenever people try to poke holes in what she says and they try to like get her gotcha, like try to do something to catch her in a lie, she always has an answer. So I'm like, well, it's very difficult to catch her making a mistake. But anyways, let me continue, because if I don't continue, it's going to be a very long video. Then he says, she resonates well with me for now. Okay. So he's not a hardcore doubter, but he has his doubts. And I tend to agree with a lot of things he says here. And that's why I'm making this video, because I want to let everybody know that I'm not just a blind Kim supporter. There are things that I also doubt about her, and it's fair to highlight, right? And I think even Kim herself would say it's fair if people brought this up. I think people have brought it to her attention, and she says, I can see why you're saying that. But anyways, he says, I saw an old video of her acting like an MK Ultra person whose programming was glitching, which could have been manipulated. That could be anybody, anytime. I mean, people act weird, so it's hard to say because somebody was acting weird in a video that they're programmed or controlled, but whatever. I mean, I would have to see the video to tell you what I would think, but I don't know what you're talking about. So if you want to post a link and let me see what you're talking about, then I can tell you what I think. Then he says, Carrie Cassidy says Kim. Now, I was going to make a video, and I still might, where I talk about something that Carrie Cassidy said about Kim, where she's controlled by DARPA. I wanted to elaborate on that, but he brought it up, so I'm going to talk about it a little bit here. It says, Carrie Cassidy says Kim is a mind-controlled DARPA operative. Carrie herself is probably controlled too. See, Carrie, I don't know. I wouldn't go so far to say that Carrie is controlled, but I would definitely say she's been influenced by the wrong people. And by the wrong people, I mean the so-called white hats, the Q people, the 107 camp, like people like that, the Trump people. I'm sorry, but if you're part of those groups and you think you're doing something righteous, you're not. You're just following people that have no intentions of ever helping you ever. They're just putting themselves on pedestals and trying to present themselves as some kind of heroes or saviors when in reality, they're not doing shit for anybody. They're just pretending, okay? That's the truth. Whether you like it or not, too bad. So, and then he says, if she wasn't before, she sure looks like it now and getting nuttier by the day. That I unsubscribed after 15 plus years of following her. Same. I mean, I never subscribed to her, but I got a lot of knowledge from Carrie, and I saw a lot of things that I know for certain, that I believed for sure, that when she interviewed certain people, I was like, that resonates with me, right? I was like, this sounds legitimate. This sounds like the truth. And now she's so much on this Trump shit. I can't. I haven't watched her in months because I can't stand. I think the last thing I saw was her interviewing Kim. And after that, and that was what, in March, I think. And after that, I couldn't watch her anymore. I was just done with it. But I don't know. I'm probably gonna start watching her again just to see how far gone she is. But for now, it's tough. But anyways, then he said she once interviewed a guy who was involved in mind control experiments on kids at the Moffett Field. Carrie told the guy she was born at Moffett Field, and the guy reacted in a very uncomfortable way. Did he remember Carrie as one of the kids they were working on? Maybe. I mean, possible. She is still pushing her 107 as JFK Jr., which, whatever. The thing I noticed about Carrie is when she supports something and she believes something and she wants it to be true, she doesn't care what you say to her to disprove it or make her seem wrong. She's going to go with it until she decides that she's done with it. So if that's what she wants to believe, okay. I mean, nobody really knows, right? But I mean, Kim said that he's not, and it's a back and forth thing. So I don't even care. I don't care. I think Juan O'Savin is a gifted speaker, but that's all, right? Like, he's intelligent. He's a gifted speaker, but I don't believe any of the bullshit he puts out there. That's the truth. That's the way I feel about him. Anyways, he says, as if the Kennedys are not members of the same club George Carlin kept talking about. And Princess Diana is alive too and married to Trump. If they show up, they'd be holograms like the Pope who went poof on that Vatican window. I don't know about that. I haven't looked into that, but it sounds legitimate. I don't know. I'll have to look at it. They can be clones too, since we're a lot more advanced in cloning than Dolly the sheep. The crumbs they are throwing at us to keep us busy wondering about its implications on life and morality. LOL. Going back to Kim, my main issue with her is saying that they could not just get rid of the bad guys because they're going against natural law. And I do believe that, yes, their cloning technology is way more advanced than they let on, but the only way to really know is if they come forward and say it, right? Only self-defense would allow it. Well, these bad guys are mowing us down with AR-15s, but they are constantly trying to kill us through poisoning our air, water supply, food supply, orchestrated droughts, orchestrated wars, human trafficking, etc. So what he's saying here is that he has a problem with Kim saying that they're not getting, and I've had the same issue, That's something that when I first heard Kim, I was like, okay, well, if you're getting rid of these guys, then why aren't you getting rid of these guys, right? I feel like they're leaving too many people, and this is one of the complaints I have with Kim, or one of my issues, is they're leaving too many people in the positions of power that they are in that shouldn't be there. And according to Kim, she said it would be kind of a shock if, you woke up one day and there was no more Biden or no more Putin or whatever. So I kind of get that logic, but I'm at a point where I'm like, who cares? Like, just get rid of these fucking people. If you can get rid of them, like if I had the power, I assure you I would do it myself, but I don't have the power. So that's the point I'm trying to make is if you can get rid of these clones that she's talking about, then why not do it? Like if you have the power to get rid of these people that are in these positions that are just hurting people, then get rid of them. And they're clones, right? So who cares? The real people are supposedly gone. So if the real people are gone, then get rid of the damn clones too while you're at it, right? That's the way I feel about it. But Kim is doing what she's doing in the way that she's doing it. And if you believe what she's saying, then that's the way she's deciding to carry it out, right? That's the way the council is deciding. That's the way the enforcers deciding. That's what they're doing. And the only way to know if Kim is, legitimately telling the truth about that is as time passes and these people fall out of power or grace or whatever, and they're no longer around, do things actually change for the better, right? I'm still waiting for that to happen because I think we're still not at a point where I can say that I'm seeing any results of anything good happening, right? The world is still pretty fucked. But when I see it, I'll be the first one to say, hey, I'm actually seeing what she's talking about, And there are people that say they see it or whatever. It is what it is. I mean, if you see it and you have some kind of evidence or proof to back up what Kim is saying, then that's cool. I mean, I'm not saying, and again, I'm not saying she's lying or she's telling the truth. What I'm saying is, I don't know. And I'm not seeing any real results of anything changing for the better. Are there people that are trying to do things right and working for the better? Like Kim has her assemblies and stuff like that. I see that happening. Yeah. So that's something, right? So she's doing something. It's not like she's not doing anything. But I need to see people actually that are, like this guy is saying right here, that are actually fucking up the world. Those are the people that need to go, right? The ones that are really fucking up the world. But anyways, let's get back to this. And then he says, why does she still think our self-defense is not warranted? Update after update, the enforcer is killing all these bad guys, yet the generals at the Pentagon who are giving all the atrocious orders are all running around free. I agree. They're, it is what it is. But that's something that she has to be more open about, I guess. But like I said, she's been questioned about this. And she always has an answer. And I can't come off the top of my head with every answer she says. But she does kind of answer when people ask her that. But again, what this guy is saying is legitimate. So it's a legitimate concern that I also have. Then he says, it seems Kim is constantly trying to mitigate whatever damage they are trying to do instead of restoring the earth, as she put it. I agree. What is the point in letting these guys continue? Is it because it is actually just another psyop, just like Donald J. Trump? Is she just another Pied Piper leading us to the slaughter? Now, that is the biggest issue that I have with what he's saying. This is actually a big issue I have with a lot of people in this world, not just him. This is not just him or Kim Gogan supporters or Trump supporters or religious people. This is my problem with pretty much the entire world, is this idea that you have to follow someone, that you have to listen to someone, that someone has to tell you what to do. Why is everybody like that? I have such a big fucking problem with that. It's ridiculous. It triggers me because it's like, why are you waiting for somebody to tell you what to do? Why are you letting somebody lead you to the slaughter? The only way you can be led to the slaughter is if you're a fucking sheep and you're just following someone to lead you there, right? So don't fucking be a sheep. That's it. So stop waiting for Kim or Trump or anybody to save you or tell you what to do or what's right and what's wrong. Figure it the fuck out on your own. Believe who you want to believe. If you want to believe Kim or you want to believe Trump or Juan Osavin or whoever the fuck you want to believe who you want. But stop blaming other people when you make a conscious decision in your mind on your own to follow someone to your own slaughter. You're deciding that on your own. Nope, nobody's making you do it. Nobody's putting a gun up to your head. Nobody's like, you need to fucking do this shit or else. All right? Well, at least not here in the United States. I mean, maybe in other countries they do that. But as far as I can tell, in the supposed free world, you're not being forced to follow anyone to your slaughter. You don't have to follow anyone or listen to anyone. Listen to yourself. And then decide who you want to believe in, who you don't. Right? It's up to you. But anyways, then he says, I'm paying very close attention to everything she says. And no, she did not say she killed Marduk. Again, there's a misconception going on here because Kim wasn't very clear when she had the Carrie Cassidy interview, the first interview she did with Carrie Cassidy, where Carrie grilled her about Marduk, and she said, who killed Marduk? Did you kill Marduk? And at first, Kim said she did, and then she changed it to, I just knocked him out. And then she was later on, she was asked again by Carrie, and Carrie was grilling her like, did you do it? Did Source do it? Who did it? Like, and Kim said, let's just say that when somebody annoys people for long enough, they got to go. And she was implying that Source had something to do with it. But the way that I took what she said, she didn't say she didn't do it. She was saying basically Source was working through me and I did it. But she didn't say it outright. So you have to like interpret what she's saying. Because she didn't say she didn't do it. Because I hear people like this guy, and there was another guy in this comment section, like, she didn't say that. Well, she implied it, okay? And if you look at her tone and the way her face moves and how she smiles and she's like, oh yeah, Source did it. Like, Kim was implying that she did it, okay? And then I saw other people talking about it. There were other interviews that, like, people asked her about the same thing, and she pretty much implied the same thing. So, long story short, she was implying that she did it. And she said Source, right? But if you understand Kim, she works with Source, according to her, right? So she could easily be just saying, well, Source through me did this, all right? You know how they say God works in a mysterious way, or the divine, this, that, and the other. She was just basically saying, hey, this happened through me, all right? So you just need to, like, understand what she's saying and interpret, read between the lines, whatever the fuck. She didn't directly say it. And at that time, Kim was, like, more reserved with saying that she would kill somebody or hurt somebody. But lately, she's been more open about it. So, I mean, she's literally been saying she's killing people. I mean, and that's why I say to people, if Kim is really a fraud or she's really doing these things and she's saying the things that she's saying, why is nobody doing anything to her? She has to be protected by someone or something, because the things she's saying, I don't think a normal person would get away with that. I'm just saying. I think somebody would come and try to get you or do something to you. All right. I know if I said that or somebody else said that, I'd probably be expecting, a knock on my door like, hey, you said this thing. Hey, why'd you say this thing? Kim says a lot of fucking shit. Nobody does shit to her. So I'm just saying she's being protected by someone or something. Okay. I don't know who. I don't know what. She says she's working with the council, the others. Hey, I can only take her at face value, right? Because I can't fucking prove whether she's lying or not. It sounds legitimate what she's saying, and she says the truth about a lot of other things. So why would I doubt her when she says that, right? It is what it is, but that's just my take. You don't have to agree. You can believe what you want to believe. Then he says, and no, she says she didn't kill Marduk. Go back and watch the video. Update. I did, and I'm right. You need to go watch it again, Cecil. You and the other guy in this comment section that don't understand what she's implying. Go read it. Watch it again. Look at her mannerisms and the way she says it. Understand, fully comprehend what she's saying. Don't just take the little parts of your mind. Well, she didn't say it. Well, just because somebody doesn't outright directly say something doesn't mean that they're not implying it, okay? You need to read between the lines. But anyways, then he says, let us not put words in her mouth. Okay, see, so you're this kind of person. See, you were cool until you started, and towards the end, you just got dumb on me. Like, let's not put words in her mouth. Like, so you can't read between the lines is what you're telling me. You can't interpret when somebody's saying something when they're hinting at something. So you just take everything everybody says all the time at face value, and you can't understand or comprehend outside the lines of anything that they're saying. It's just This person said this thing and that's it. There's nothing else to it. All right, cool. If that's the way you think, cool. And then he says, those not familiar with at least one translation of the Sumerian tablets will have trouble following KG. The Sumerian tablets, of which there are about 500,000 of, are extant. They are thousands of years older than the Bible and contain the recycled biblical stories. Get familiar with a real hidden history, and you will be less likely, I guess he meant to say, to think of her as a nut when she starts talking about Marduk, Enlil, Anu, etc. Our life is not as we've been made to believe. Okay, I already know all of that. So he's not telling me anything new here. But long story short, I just wanted to respond. I already said what I had to say here. If you guys want to read this comment, or you can just go to the video on BitChute. I don't know if I'm going to leave the link, but you can go on BitChute and check it out. The links are in the description for all my social media. So if you want to look at my BitChute channel, you can see this shit right here. And there was another comment, this guy. Same guy, but I'm not going to get into that because, like I said, if you can't read between the lines and you can't interpret when somebody's saying something, when they're hinting at something, because she wasn't directly saying it, but she was hinting at it, then that's on you, right? Like, I'm not here to babysit people. Then he said this stuff up here about, she did talk about the enforcer in one of her videos. I was trying to find it, but I couldn't. Kim went into detail because somebody asked her, I forgot who. But somebody asked her about the enforcer and she was explaining it. It's one of her more recent videos. I want to say in the last 2 months. I was looking for it before I made this video. I couldn't find it. So unfortunately, I couldn't tell you what she said about the enforcer. The only thing I remember, she said he was a very powerful entity, millions of years old. And he's not in a human body. Like, he's not a physical being, if I remember correctly. It's a very evolved being. And his job is to basically, if I remember correctly, keep balance or make sure things don't go too crazy or whatever. And something like that. Like, he just basically goes around and kills shit that doesn't need to be there, if I remember correctly. But yeah, if you look it up, you'll find it. Anyways, I think this video is long enough. I wasn't trying to go this long, but I had to get all these thoughts out. Again, the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with is believe who you want to believe. Think what you want to think. Follow who you want to follow. Don't be a fucking sheep. And don't follow anyone to your slaughter, all right? I like Kim. I think she's a good person, and I like her information. But I don't follow her blindly like, oh, everything she says is the gospel, and she can never make a mistake, or her knowledge is going to change my life. No, I just think it's interesting what she says. Just like I think a lot of people are interesting. And I watch a lot of different people, and I listen to a lot of different people. But I don't necessarily blindly believe anyone or follow anyone. And if I do choose to do that, I know that it was my conscious decision to do that. So I don't put the responsibility of my life and who I want to believe and what I want to follow on somebody else. It's on me, right? I make the decision to do that. And that's what you guys need to do. And if everybody took responsibility for their lives and their decisions and stop putting it on other people, this world would be a better place instantly. Because then you would think very carefully what you were going to listen to and who you were going to follow. You would really think about it. You wouldn't just blindly do it. But anyways, I've said enough. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. And Cecil, if you want to respond, cool, whatever. But understand where I'm coming from. And please don't get dumb on me, because you were cool in the beginning, then you got dumb towards the end. Be smart. Think about what I'm saying, and then respond accordingly. If you guys like, comment, subscribe. And I will probably make another video talking about what Carrie Cassidy said about Kim with the whole DARPA thing, because I did want to talk about that more in depth. And that might be coming soon. I wasn't planning to make this video as soon as I made it, but I saw the comment and I had to. So, but I'll make another video soon, and I'll see you guys in that video and the rest of the videos that I make. If you want to support the channel, check out the links. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.